Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to episode 8 of the number one Contender podcast, the show where your favorite nerds talk all things movie trivia schmodown. Yes, we're aware it looks a little weird in here. We are doing our first episode with the new camera, and it makes us look a little ghastly. And
we're in a dungeon.
I feel like the whole schmodown's in a dungeon right now.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to be talking about our first week of matches, and we're going to wrap up with the big schmodown versus between Jeff the Sneider and Dangerous Dan Murrell. And while I make that say the logo of our show, Travis, how did you feel about our first match this week? Amaru Moses versus Jesse Swift.
I'm 2 for 2 on sprites not exploding on the show, so that's pretty good.
That is very good.
I don't want to say underwhelmed by what we saw. But it was just like a standard Inner Geekdom match. It was fine. Moses won. Said that he underperformed. Like, he admitted that he was low on points and said that his goal for next match, was to have a higher score and still win, of course.
I believe he said, like, to be exact, he wanted a score of 20 and a victory was his...
Yeah.
I want to win with 20 is what he said. Something to that effect. Yeah, it was a fun match. I even think that the newbies are trying to adjust to whatever the hell the new IG is. Because it's funky. It's still weird for a lot of people.
I am sad that we no longer have the set 10 starting, which makes sense because there's so many. But like that goes across all I almost said factions.
Divisions.
Divisions. Thank you. That's the word. I knew there was a word.
You got there eventually.
Yeah, and I think they only did that last season out of convenience. Like, it just made it way easier to write for the matches.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do that this year, which makes sense. What'd you think about the almost challenge for Superman the Motion Picture?
I don't know. I feel like since there isn't a movie that's just called Superman, technically, like, well, I mean, you can say that Superman the Motion Picture is just Superman.
He said Superman the movie, and it's really funny because this week's episode of All My Movies with Dan Murrell is All My Movies with Dan Murrell, Superman the movie.
I did not notice that was what All My Movies was this week.
Have
you been listening to All My Movies?
I have not been. I just noticed that because I'm subbed to Dan Murrell's
I've been trying
YouTube.
to, and I haven't had a chance to.
I'm subbed to his YouTube, and I saw that this week, and I was like, that is too funny.
Yeah, no, I have mixed opinions about that. I do think that Superman, like Batman 89, there should be, because like what we call Batman 89 is just Batman the movie.
Yeah, well, it's Batman.
It is Batman, but I've also seen it printed as Batman the movie. Or no, Batman the movie's the Adam West one. I'm getting the streams crossed here. But still, with those older movies before like the age of everything having a subtitle, and it's murky waters, I think.
I think if you're going to keep it as Superman the blank, that's fine. But if its titles in different places are motion picture and movie, and granted, the challenge was never placed. Like, Coy wasn't on the ball with that one, and it wouldn't have made a difference in the match anyway. He still would have lost. But I just think it was an interesting challenge that could have been made, and I think it was handled well by everyone that just like, didn't get in time, and that's fine,
I agree. I concur. No, it was definitely an interesting match. I enjoy watching Moses play already.
They're both very energetic.
Jesse Swift.
I'm also avoiding saying Moses' first name because he corrected Christian on his pronunciation once, and I was like, I'm never going to be able to say that right, so I'm sticking with Moses.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, there's a there's a rolled R on the R of Amaru, and I can't do it without sounding like an idiot. Like, I just can't roll my R's that well. So I'm going to do the same thing for sake of just not butchering his name and being disrespectful to Mr. Moses, just because I can't roll my R's worth a damn.
But yeah, it was an okay match. I'm excited to see what Moses can do going forward. And like you said, I think they're both adjusting to actual Schmodown and to the new Inner Geekdom, because they both played in fan leagues, right? That's where they both came from,
I think.
Then they're both still used to the old format still, like everybody else.
Yeah.
And so
also, not related to game at all, Jesse Swift looks so much like Jason Sudeikis, it's distracting.
I gotta admit, I had the match on while I was at lunch at work and was not paying attention to either of them. I just had the
vamp for a second. You're familiar with who I'm talking about, though? Jason Sudeikis, like the SNL alum?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pull up a picture of Mr. Swift. Good looking dude, but like spitting image of Jason Sudeikis.
I think that the usual suspects are doing a lot better this season. I think Sam Levine.
For sure, yeah. No, I don't want a YouTube Premium subscription.
I keep getting YouTube Premium subscription ads about like watching Fortnite like highlight reels in.
Tell me he does not look like like young Jason Sudeikis. Like early into his SNL career, Jason Sudeikis.
I don't know what early into his SNL Jason Sudeikis looked like.
Jason Sudeikis with less, like right there when he is head on with the camera. That is massive Jason Sudeikis face.
I'm gonna take your word for it because I have no idea.
All right, I'll go with that.
Something. Sam Levine's doing good. Something. I think Shannon made a good point in the Star Wars match about it, though. Something. But I think Sam Levine's in a much better spot this season.
Well, he made a great point in the post game of Sullivan v. Wilson.
Yeah.
That this season, I don't think he has too much to worry about as far as like honing talent for singles and teams.
He's got Drew McQueenie. He's got Liz Shannon Miller. He's fine.
And Ethan Irwin.
Oh yeah, he's got Ethan Irwin.
Yeah. Between Big Time and McQueenie, Liz Shannon Miller, like he's fine. Like you got to cultivate your talent. You got to keep them. You got to keep everybody frosty. Keep everybody on their toes.
And I think that's kind of like all the factions got to keep their big, with the exception of the dungeon, right? Got to keep their big hitters for singles and teams in the free agency special. Maybe picked up Inner Geekdom, or in the case of Roxy, kept Alex Damon because he's the Star Wars champ, and then focused on getting a good Inner Geekdom or Star Wars player in their first two picks in the draft to like fill in those spots. And I think that for the most part, that's going to work out for everybody. But like right now, we're seeing it really work for Sam Levine in contrast to what he had last season.
Absolutely. Like I think the only real presence he had in either IG. No, I'm wrong because Scrimshaw was on the Mercs.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Even then, that didn't. Joseph Scrimshaw being a Banff addressed like that. That's not like that lasted very long either.
So, moving into the Star Wars match, that was a hell of a Star Wars match.
That was a hell of a Star Wars match. I want to say up top, what I'm about to say is I don't want it to be construed as me downplaying Sean Sullivan's performance. That said, I kind of partially still consider him a rookie. Like, in my mind, like, I know that, like, Shannon and Sam both had their, like, oh, you know, like, you missed this question and da-da-da, and they're, like, harping on him, like, not being a rookie. I'm sorry, his first season was last year, and he played, like, what, a match before all...
Well, he played one in studio, and then he played his match against Laura Kelly in the tournament.
Yeah. That's...
For Star Wars, that would make you a seasoned competitor at that point because you played more than a match.
Fair.
You know, this is the first season where Star Wars is a full-fledged, like, almost match a week. I forgot the word division again. That's the kind of night we're having, folks. So... You know, I think he was ready to go. And honestly, watching him, I listened to the match on Spotify. Listening to him play, I think an A player found a B manager. I think him and Shannon clicked in a way that he had not before, and it has made him such
like
a better
A,
player.
B is in like matching parts, not like A rate and B rate.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Okay. I got very confused.
I mean, like
second.
a Roxy Stryer and Jeff Sneider finding each other kind of dynamic. Like these two really seemed to click.
Okay.
You know, Sean Sullivan was, and not that I ever, you know, he did only play 2 matches last season, and one of them was against Laura Kelly. So, you know, going into this match, I'm like, oh, Dragon Con person and Star Wars player who I, like, wasn't super familiar with. My bet's on the Dragon Con player, and even though I was right, I think Sean's going places.
I think he is too. I think both of them do have the potential to be.
They both are. I think now that Sean's hit his stride with Shannon, he's going to be able to, you know, and he has that first, like, oh, like, this is what it feels like to be confident with my manager and feel confident in what I'm doing. He'll be a lot better moving forward. And I think now that Marie, we haven't really talked about Marie yet, knows how the game plays and knows how that, like, I think she needs to get used to having JTEs. And
we were talking in the car about the, you know, who's overseeing the construction of the Death Star
question.
Return of the Jedi question, yeah.
We both think she just misheard or misunderstood, and that's why she missed it. Because, like, she hit way harder questions over the whole match, but even just in round 2. Like, it went from, like, missing the easiest question asked of the night, or of the game, to, like, what's the name of the droid in Jabba's palace that C-3PO and R2 come to? Because I don't know that.
In my opinion, the one that really stumped me, that I out loud said I got nothing for, was the name of the general that reports to Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One.
Oh, dude.
That was the one where I was like, oh, no.
And it's a question
I capped out on that one. Like, I think I missed 2 playing along. And it was that and the droid question were the 2 I missed.
Any question about Rogue One where the answer, like, it's not, what's the subtitle for Rogue One? I'm not gonna know the answer.
I think you're cutting yourself short. I think you would do well with Rogue One trivia.
I need to rewatch it. I haven't watched it since it was in theaters. I'm pretty sure.
I've only come to like it more with rewatches. I used to be like really, really lukewarm on it.
I knew that I liked the ending. Like, I liked the final act because it was really good and the Darth Vader scene. But other than that, it was fine. I could just watch the last act and be fine.
I do think it's worth rewatching. I hit like a cluster of weeks where I happened to catch it on TV several times, and it ended up being my background noise while I was like cleaning or doing laundry or shit like that. and I kept finding myself just stopping to sit down and watch it. And I like really have come to enjoy Rogue One a lot more than I did before. Mm-hmm. Anyway, phenomenal match between them. What I think is really important about what we saw from Marie, though, I think we finally demystified the Dragon Con players.
Yeah.
Is at first, like, we were talking about the Dragon Con players in this, again, like this almost like mythic way of like Alex Damon's only won here once. And they know all the stuff, not just the movies, but the TV and the games and the books too. And
which in some cases might be a hindrance if there's too much information there to draw from, you know. And again, just like they still aren't privy to the Schmodown. With that question about the Death Star, she could have easily used the JTE and reheard it. And I think she just forgot she could do that.
I think you're right. I think you're 100% right on that one.
And I think if she learns that and she gets better with the actual game format, could very well dominate, right? But also they can miss. What they missed it was the Last Jedi quote. It was the other one because it was the planet from Return of the Jedi. Which one's shown first in the celebrations, and then the quote from.
What's Kylo Ren's response to Rey calling him a monster?
Yeah. Which I was like, I don't know, probably something edgy. And then I was right.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
I would have, because I didn't know, I would have put probably something edgy.
No, yeah, that was a good question too. It was just one of those ones that like, I don't know. I think Star Wars is one of those categories that like everybody has a different specialization because people who are competing in the Star Wars division and are like at the level of expertise where they can have a favorite movie that they have seen, like they've seen Star Wars more times than most people should have. But then that movie that they like the most, they have seen like an offensive amount of times.
I also think that Sean Sullivan had a point when he was on the wheel and he spun and he was like, it really doesn't matter because like no matter what I spin, is the same level of nonsense and bullshit that'll be in any other wheel slide.
Yeah. I don't know if the wheel had any like weapons and technology or who set it on there.
Yeah, I couldn't see the wheel, so I don't know.
Okay, I was going to say, to my knowledge, if it was all just the movies, he's absolutely right. Like if you have, like if there comes a point, like you've seen enough Star Wars that you can just say like, as long as it's wheel slices about the movies.
I've only watched Attack of the Clones like maybe 3 times. Probably more than both, like 4 times. And I knew the Gundark's question. Like, I shouldn't know that.
It's definitely more than 3. We did the audio commentary and you've been in at least 2 movie marathons at my house.
So then it's 4 because as a kid, I watched all of the original 6 Star Wars movies with the exception of Revenge of the Sith in like 15-part uploads on YouTube. Back in the grand days of YouTube when that's how you watched movies on YouTube was, okay, here's this channel that uploaded parts 1 through 6 of 15. And there's this other channel that has part 7 of 16? And somehow you got all of A New Hope right there. I'm not kidding. That's how I watched Star Wars for the first time.
Oh, I feel so. I wonder what like if there's like any like Gen Zers watching this that are just like, oh, look at this fucking fossil.
Look at this absolute grandfather. I don't use TikTok. At this point, I'm like of the age with TikTok where I don't need to use it because anything that I would like, you or Lexi send to me. Like I don't need to because you guys are my algorithm. That's all I need.
It's true though. You're absolutely right about that. I never thought of it that way. That like she and I just curate a For You page for you. But yeah, no, I think that I think we've seen that like the Dragon Con players can bleed. They are not these like immortal trivia gods. You know, they can miss a round one question.
And I think also and like I said, they're so used to having to focus on everything that like they might have underestimated the depth they go into in the movies or something. I don't know. But it is worth knowing that this was like the first match of the first one, and that I think they only get better from here.
Do we want to talk any plot lines now, or do we want to just talk about all the plot lines we've seen at the end?
I think only one of them carried over to tonight, so we can just kind of get a couple of them out of the way. So there's
You want to talk about Swag Coup?
Swag Coup, the Swag Surrection.
Swag Surrection. I like it. That's what we're going to go with. I'm putting that in the episode description.
Yeah.
Swag Surrection.
So also up front, we didn't watch the Marisol McKee, Vinny, whatever his last name is.
Mancuso.
I thought that was it. Match. We know Marisol won, and I watched the beginning and ending. And also I did watch Mark Ellis completely butcher the first question.
That I almost peed my pants when you told me about it.
You need to watch it. It's the funniest thing. Just what's the title of the animated Scooby-Doo movie from 2020? Scoob. I love that Scooby-Doo. Like, you knew he did it. You saw it in his eyes. He was like, "Oh shit."
That is just spectacular. That's prime time, baby carrots. We love you, Mark. So yeah, the Swag Surrection. So first of all, apparently it was Chandra's idea
To draft Laura Kelly.
to draft Laura, whom, hey, go back, look at the YouTube channel or the rest of the podcast feed. I had a cool interview with Laura Kelly. Check it out.
Yeah.
So that was Chandra's doing.
So their goal is to get him to step down. Who would take his place?
I think Chandra wants to become the manager.
Does he want to do the manager player bit?
I don't see him stepping away from play. I think he wants to be manager so that he can just be his own boss.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess. I mean, he would have a sub manager when he plays, I guess, but
yeah, okay. I think just in the way that everything is being paced and presented, I think the Swag Surrection ties into Schmominati.
probably.
And I think that what we're seeing now is I'm about to sound like Alex Jones. I think that the Swag Surrection is an attempt at some type of like schmo deep state that is involved with the Schmominati. That like, and again, like we'll talk about this with the verses with Dan Murrell and Sneider. But you know, Harloff works for Grace Hancock now. As far as plot lines go, my impulse is to say that this is going to be some of the most absurd shit to fall out of my mouth all week. And I've watched 2 Zack Snyder movies this week. I think that Grace Hancock is a high-ranking member of the Schmominati. And I think that one of their strategies to destabilize the league is shit like the Swag Surrection.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And that, you know, you can get rid of players and managers that they aren't overly fond of.
But why Winston?
I accidentally turned on my phone.
Why flashlights?
Why flashlights? I don't know. I don't know why Winston. And maybe because he's like, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know why Winston.
It's so weird too, because like I know I missed some crazy plotline stuff. Like right as I got into the Schmodown, a lot of the plotline stuff cooled down. and then we hit pandemic, and they had to pretty much drop everything, and we're just like, okay, we just do matches now for a while because it's way easier. And now we're getting back to plot. Like, now they can actually write for, weird storylines again. And I'm so lukewarm on it, in that, like, this is fine. Whatever happens, happens. I just want to watch the trivia.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the opposite camp, where I'm like, it's been so long since I've had, like, good staged, like, pro wrestling. Here comes Randy Orton with a steel chair type shit.
Yeah,
and as absurd as the Schmominati is, and like,
it's not even that I'm like upset about it happening. I'm like, it would be better if it was just matches like last season. Like, I'm glad they're having fun with it, and it doesn't deter from anything else going on. So there's no reason for them not to do it.
Yeah,
it's just like, I'm not gonna try to do the corkboard strings nonsense because I know I'll be wrong.
I've missed it so much, and now that, like, it's not just conniving and plotting, there's a straight up conspiracy going on, and that's what, like, has me super invested with it, is that I love this kind of shit so much. And, and then
people feed Dan Murrell the answers.
They are. I love Mind Wipe Andrew Guy. I love that Andrew Guy is, like, convinced it's 2017 and 2018 again. When I saw him, like, waking up in the suit with, like, the thing of bourbon next to the bed, and he's, like, changing sunglasses, I was like, oh my God, this is going... It was going exactly in the direction I was hoping it was. And with the scene we got today attached to the Jeff Sneider Dan Murrell match, Travis, if we get a reunion of Team Action, and, like, this might be my all-time favorite Schmodown season, like, ever. If we're about to have a JTE and John Roca v. Jeff Sneider and Mark Andreyko situation, which we might, that we get to see the two Patriots going head to head on other teams than the other one, that's insane and historic. We get to see Sam Levine managing Drew McWeeny. Corruption is still going strong with, as a faction and the team. And, Mike gets to have, like, another run at all three divisions that he's a part of. And might have a chance, Mikey 3 belts could still happen. Never going to let that go, and never going to let that die, because I still want to see it happen.
Notably not playing this month.
Notably not playing this month, unfortunately. But, that is still on the board. This season might be the season. Laura Kelly even said it in our interview last week. This could be the season Alex Damon loses.
That would be worth it enough for me. Because, like...
And not that any of us are necessarily rooting against Alex. It's just that, like... There's a certain level of play at this point that comes with the potential to even play him, period.
I just want things to be up in the air with the Star Wars division. Because I feel like the matches are really fun. And, like, if at some point he goes, oh, and this person might be gunning for the belt, and then we're going to see this. Like, I want a championship match. Championship
We be
match.
sipping. I'm sorry, I've been listening to this.
Championship match that doesn't feature Alex Damon. Just one. Just one. That's all I want. And that's nothing against him. I just want a different promo card. Just once. But yeah, big season. Big things happening.
Yeah, it's all those things plus the potential for maybe the reunion of Team Action proper. Like,
I don't know though, because for one, that would require the dungeon dropping a player in drafting, but picking up Andrew Guy. That would require them somehow
Well, there's still the midseason free agency that can happen. So that doesn't necessarily mean somebody gets dropped. There could be some actual trading involved that gets a guy to the dungeon without necessarily dropping a player. So there's still avenues for Guy to end up in the dungeon so that there can be a Bateman team up. But that's also not to say that Bateman doesn't end up out of the dungeon by the end of the season.
That's true. Because the other thing, the other promo from the Marisol McKee match, were there two? I think there were two. Do I remember what they were? One of them was the dungeon one. Oh, yeah, the other one was the Finstock one. It doesn't matter. Okay.
Oh, God, what happened with
it's just Gucci and Roca riffing for 2 minutes. You would love it. But there's no relevant plotline stuff. It's just them talking about how stupid Ben Bateman's face is.
Dead ass?
Yeah.
Good.
Love
how
that. Stupid is that face? And just that over and over. But in the one for Kaiser, Bateman, and Murrell, Bateman throws out the idea, if Kaiser wants them to, that Bateman and Murrell would team up for the teams division. Which would be ludicrous, and I think they would pretty easily not dominate his team. I mean, teams is stacked this season, but they would have a really good shot at beating the Odd Couple at the very least. I mean, pretty much everybody else. At that point, it's just a matter of who gets the bad spin in round two. So yeah, that's the only thing that I'm iffy on the team action stuff. I think it'd be fun. It also means that they have to either also rewind Ben Bateman or fast forward Andrew Guy.
No, I want 2021 Ben Bateman playing with 2017 Andrew Guy. I think that would be...
See, but I want them to win. That's my only thing.
I think it would be hilarious. For plotline and for gameplay. Because for them to be Andrew Guy has all of his trivia capabilities back, but as a person has not matured past their breakup.
If he can play, because again, then they have to throw in the theatric of Ben Bateman consistently going, no, Guy, it's 2021. Or whatever, and if they get 2020 as a category, it's what the hell are you talking about? It's 2017. They have to undo that somehow.
And again, I think you can catch him up on the trivia without advancing him. I want him to play Dastardly Dan. Dastardly, right? I almost said Dastardly Dan Murrell, but it was
Dangerous Dan Murrell.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying he was. Andrew Guy was Dastardly, right?
I don't remember.
Before he switched to Debonair, I want to say it was Dastardly. I want to see that. I want to see heel Guy.
I never saw them play his team action.
Holy shit! Yeah,
they were already split up.
Yeah, you didn't get in past the Anarchy tournament. Holy shit!
Yep.
Wow, you missed some amazing heel action. My God. Oh God, I now need it to happen more.
Again, if they can find, I want beginning of last season Andrew Guy to be with Ben Bateman. I think that would be way more interesting because at that point they were both in that zone of I'm just here to win now. I'm done trying to be the villain, and I'm not a good guy, but I just want to win. And I respect that. And as funny as the theatrics that Guy and Bateman tend to throw into their matches, with last season, which was definitely the best match of the season. I think it's just way more. I want them to win. I want them to actually have a good shot, and I think that only happens if Guy isn't doing the. They can be who's the boss or not who's the boss. Team action again with the suit, the glasses, the whatever. But like
The piano cover of Still DRE.
but they've got to like I said, just like crank him forward a few years and then we're golden. But we'll see.
You and I got a very big laugh out of like, where's your mask? Why does everybody keep asking me that?
Why does everyone keep asking me that?
It's so good. I love it. And I love, thank you. Hey, Shmo Minotti, thank you for wiping his brain. Thank you for giving us back the OG Andrew Guy, the Andrew Guy we all love and hate and love to hate. Moving into the big event tonight.
Yeah.
That was a good match. That was a solid match.
Dan Murrell did a Dan Murrell. Jeff Sneider did good. I hit a 5-pointer. I can retire champion now.
Yes. Travis hit a 5-pointer, and I looked into the future during Wrestlers in Film.
I also hit a Wrestlers in Film question. That wasn't the Spider-Man one, but I did know that one.
Which one was it?
The Bumblebee question.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because you started like Transformers. It's like, oh, it's Bumblebee. Because that's all I remember. It was like Bumblebee is just E.T. starring a Transformer and John Cena's in it. I didn't see the movie. That's all I know about it.
They said he spun Wrestlers in Film for the second time, and I as a joke looked at Travis and I was like, what's the name of the wrestler that Macho Man Randy Savage plays in Spider-Man?
And sure as shit.
Because Bonesaw is in fact ready.
Bonesaw's ready.
That fucking scene is art. It's high art. But no, this is a phenomenal match. This came down to Sneider missing that question in round 1. I think that we're looking at a vastly different game. I think he got in his head.
He also went to multiple choice in round 2 once.
He did go to multiple choice, but I'm saying I think he got derailed.
Yeah.
Because he did what a lot of people do, where they have that I know it's one of these two. I didn't go with his gut. I did the same exact thing. I said I very loudly and confidently said Saoirse Ronan. But the second it came out of my mouth in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's got to be Florence Pugh. And he did the same thing to himself. Where he went Saoirse, Florence, Saoirse. And I really do think that cost him the match. I think we got kind of a little bit of the Zack Sneider of. It's been a long week. The Jeff Sneider of old, where I'm so sorry, Jeff, where he, kind of played himself because he got kind of lost in his own sauce and mentally. I think that's what did him in by the end of the match is that he just kind of messed with his own head. Travis?
Yes. Oh, Dungeon is still on top, baby. And then they're going to win against Adam. I'm surprised we're getting Murrell the Adam Collins too already, but also I'm not surprised. And I think Murrell has a much better shot of winning this time.
See, this is going to be the first match of the season that is both of us sitting here, one in their corruption shirt, the other one in their dungeon shirt. And when the camera starts rolling, one of us being very sad and the other one with a very shit-eating grin.
I feel like that's not even the case, though, because I also really
you really do like Adam Collins, yeah.
And as much as corruption isn't my favorite faction, I have a very large respect for them. Just because, I respect Shannon a lot, especially her mentality after Sean's loss in the Star Wars match of just yeah, it sucks he lost, and he's taking it very well, and I frankly don't care. Taking anyone's lead right now as anything substantial is just fucking stupid. Because it is.
We saw what, corruption started in the barrel last season.
The Den and Finstock have not played a single match, so technically they're in last place. Ooh. Oh no. Whatever will they do? Like, it doesn't matter.
And as much shit as anybody wants to talk about Gucci and his very interesting draft choices, the exchange is going to win matches. Like, there's no getting around that. Same with the Den.
And, like, the only matches that really matter right now are title shots and maybe number one contender matches. I said it. Show's over. So, like, that's why the Dungeons matches they've won, because now the Dungeons 2-1 this season. And the only one they also lost the number one contender match, but they won a number one contender match and they won a title match. And so that, like, they're significantly ahead because of that. And I think right now that's what's going to matter. I don't think regular points matches are going to, like, really start to build up until the tournament. And so, you know, you can drop a match here and there and not really like, oh, but we might lose the faction war now. Oh, no. Like, it, you know, to really focus on that doesn't do well for the team. Doesn't do well for your players, because if they're so worried about, like, you know, if Saul is, you know, terrified to lose on whatever the 10th Wednesday, right, for this match that is only worth like 2 or 3 points, then, like, if all their players are like that, then yeah, they're all probably going to lose because they're terrified of losing. But if they're going, yeah, I just need to get my feet wet, I just want to get in this match, I want to play again, and you know, if we pick up the points, we pick up the points, that's great. Like, you're just going to do way better because you're going to be more relaxed.
Yeah, there is a lot of...
That was a huge side rail. I don't care who wins between Murrell and Collins. I will be happy either way, although Murrell winning for the dungeon would be quite nice.
And I'd like to see that title defense happen because I want belts and corruption to be a one-way street. They come in and they do not come out. That's what I want to see happen this season. Yeah, no, I thought, like I said, I agree with you. I think that because the early season, at least, and maybe it's just because it's recency. This season feels very front loaded, like more so than other seasons. That there's a lot of like beginning of the year, who gets what belt.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we've already had our Inner Geekdom title shot as the opener, and they open usually with some kind of title match or first number one contender match. So we had both of those in the season opener. We get the Star Wars Championship match later this month. I'm sure we'll see some kind of. I don't think there's actually a teams match this month.
There's not.
Interesting. Are we just gonna have like the month of teams? Is that what's going to happen?
I'm not sure. I think that there's some plotline stuff that needs to settle first.
That's true.
I really do think that,
because like we don't even know, like, you know, we mentioned the idea of Roka and JTE, but that's not set in stone. We have no idea.
No, we're just okay, who are the two veterans on the team? What's an interesting matchup because they used to be enemies?
Yeah. So I was going somewhere. Oh, yeah. So, like, we have 2 title matches already, and then another one lined up probably for next month. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, April starts with Collins v. Murrell 2, right? And then also Laura Kelly v. whoever wins Damon Demolanta. So that's already, what, 4? Yeah, 4 title matches in 2 months. So,
if there's one thing that I'm a little heartbroken about, it's that it seems like with the Swag's direction, the Laura Kelly's like drive to come back to corruption is kind of dwindling. And, you know, Chandru had that little dig about, like, you know, Shannon is the one who screwed you over by not pulling you immediately. And nothing but love to the Queen of Corruption. Chandru is not wrong.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, I guess for the Marisol pick, but I think that like saying that she could have taken Laura in free agency, no offense to Laura Kelly, but like saying that she could have taken Laura in free agency makes no sense when you have your boyfriend who lives with you, his partner, and the singles champ that just went undefeated and beat Dan Murrell.
No, I agree completely. I on that. Like, Shannon made the right call.
And even if like Shannon had kept her first pick, I think then Laura just gets picked even sooner by somebody that isn't swag. I think she gets snatched up anyway.
I don't know. I still think that there's so many shoulda, coulda, wouldas, what else could have happened type stuff.
Yeah,
but
and that's
I think at the end of the day, Chandra raises a point at the very least.
He raises a point, and I don't think it's valid. But I think that Laura's listening to that point for plot. So.
Absolutely. I'm 100% speaking in that realm.
This is clearly for plot. And also, like I said, Laura's the kind of player that doesn't need a manager, right? She isn't a Sean Sullivan. I think she still did fine with corruption, but we saw her go perfect basically by herself. So, also, I don't know if you caught it, but did you watch the posts? You did watch the post-match interviews where Shannon kind of like lightly dropped that Laura might have been training Sean.
Yeah, well, Laura actually mentioned in her whenever we interviewed her that there is like before she knew what faction she was going to be on, she was still training along with her, fellow corruption members. Before it was set in stone that she was going to be on swag, she was, training with them. And
that still wouldn't mean she was training with Sean.
I think if Shannon was already planning on drafting Sean and that was set in stone, it would make sense if there was something going on there.
I don't know about that one, but...
And I'm going to be completely honest, I missed that, but also I had it on 2x speed because I was trying to get ready for work, and the matches all dropped at a not opportune. We're doing a lot of cramming over on Movie Club to get ready for the Sneider cut. So I was a little slow on the draw with the matches this week.
Ew. Sneider cut. Ew. Gross. Not on this show too.
All of them. This is Zack Snyder's podcast network. We just talk on it.
The first question they ask about the Sneider cut on the Schmodown, I quit. I'm done with the show. I'm done with the Schmodown. I'm never watching again. I don't want to hear a single dang word about Zack Snyder's Justice League, which means probably hold on. There is not an Inner Geekdom match the rest of this month after Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out. So I'm safe for a month.
What if it's some shit like in Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Who directed Zack Snyder's Justice League?
What do we live in according to the Joker?
Oh, Jesus.
That'll be a 5-pointer.
I'd end my own life.
But yeah, no, congratulations. How do you interpret Mr. Sneider, other Sneider spelled differently? How do you interpret his little outburst at the end of the match, at the end of the post game?
He's either really down on himself, or he's mad at Roxy, and I can't tell which. Because Roxy raised a good point afterwards that, like, I think, most people going into this match were like, oh, Dan's got this on lock. me. And that, like, Jeff is pretty unarguably the best teams player ever, but like that's because it's teams. So like he has a partner to back him up. And in singles, like he does well enough with Roxy there in his corner. Because like you have to have some level of prowess to be the best teams player. But you know, I think he's just that like one step shy in singles, and he has been for a while. And I don't know. I don't think he's like he could get there, but I don't think he's wanted to take the effort to get there. If that makes sense. Or like he doesn't want to like quite make the leap into like I got to go hard into singles for myself. So maybe this will be that push. Maybe this will be his push to like, I'm just going to focus on keeping my belt in teams. I don't see him leaving Roxy, even if he's...
No. Absolutely not.
No, I don't think any other manager could come close to handling Jeff Sneider.
The only one who could was Gucci, but that's never going to happen again.
I guess, yeah, because JT's already like, I want to beat Jeff Sneider. But maybe.
Oh my God. If the stars fell apart and the Patriots got back together. I'd go ape shit if that happened and we just reverted to like the dark timeline of 2018. Holy shit. Yeah, I think I couldn't quite tell if Jeff was angry at Roxy or just kind of hit fuck it for the night.
Yeah, because that's what he does when he loses like this. And what he said, like, at least somebody tried. I think him personally came into this match like not fully cocked. Like he still did great, but like in his mind, he's like, I could have stayed with sports and slammed my round 2, and I should have gotten that first question because I knew the answer. And like, if I had just been in this a little more, I would have had it. We'll find out in a couple weeks probably, but like, I think right now it's that he was kind of down on himself for missing those questions.
I think you're right. I agree with you on that front. Yeah, I think that's all we got for you guys this week. Next week we got another batch of matches. No live events, so
nope. We won't be here till 2.
We won't be here till 2 or 3. But the week after that is a doubleheader, so it's going to be a late night. But we do this because we love you and we love the movie trivia Schmodown. Travis.
Hold on. Next week, Saul v. John Humphrey. Who you got?
Humphrey.
I'll go Saul. Brother Lamas v. Frankie Alvarez in singles. Who you got?
I'm not sure, but I'm really excited to see how Brother Lomas, however the hell his name is pronounced. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he plays. So I'm gonna say him because I'm excited for him.
I'm saying Alvarez because I want the Finstock to lose. Unless he wears his animated pants again, but we won't be able to tell.
It's like the General Hux meme from Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I don't care about the unusual suspects. I just want Finstock to lose. Ellison v. Brendan Meyer. We don't have to talk about that one. We know where we both stand.
Wait, what is it?
Ellison v. Meyer in singles.
Oh shit! Chance, you can do this, buddy. I believe in you.
It'll be a good match. That's for sure. I think that these two are like. They're they're the literal children of the Schmodown, and also they're both like relatively on the same level playing wise.
Yeah, they're equals, and they're also like they're both like the Padawans of two very different
greatest of all times.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. But yeah, that's our show next week. So fun times.
Oh wow, that's next week. Like all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Sick.
March 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Oh, well, we're going to have one hell of a show for you guys next week because we got a hell of a week in the movie trivia Schmodown. Oh, man, I cannot wait for Chance versus Brendan Meyer. Again, that's going to be a match where one of us is going to be smiling at the beginning of the show and one of us is going to want to kick the other one in the dick, and you're going to figure out which next week. That said, Travis, where can the lovely people find you, my friend? God fucking damn it, this flashlight.
They can find me not accidentally shining my flashlight on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political. Jarod.
Yeah?
Where can they see your flashlight?
I can't even turn it on purpose now. You guys can find me and my flashlight on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page. Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Case and Breon, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach Canals. You guys help us make the content we love to produce. Tune in to the Knights of the Nerd Republic versus series. We got Darth Malgus versus Kyle Katarn up there right now. At some point this week, Travis and I are talking Sam Wilson, Captain America, to ring in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hiccups. So tune in for that. We got all of the audio commentaries for Nerd Academy Movie Club on the $5 tier as well. As of probably today, once you're hearing this, we'll have the Batman v Superman audio commentary up there, as well as the Man of Steel one. Quick programming note, which will probably be on Twitter at some point in the next couple of days, as far as the social media space goes, but we're recording this now. Nerd Academy Movie Club, for the month of March only, is making the move to Mondays so we can have our Zack Snyder recap leading up to the Snyder Cut, so that we get all the episodes out as they need to be. We do this for you guys because we love you. Travis is going to be on the Batman v Superman one, though.
Maybe. Hopefully. We'll see.
Hopefully.
That does mean I have to carve out 3 hours of my time somewhere to watch Batman v Superman and not kill myself after, which is going to be the really hard part.
Hey, no one said you had to watch the 3-hour version.
I'm not paying money to watch any other version. And I have HBO Max.
If I can save your life by finding my Blu-ray, I will. I will look for it. But yeah, tune in for all of that stuff. We got lots of fun stuff coming down the pipeline. I've mentioned this before, but just because the Snyder Cut's coming and we mentioned it multiple times, we are going to be doing some collaborations with our pals over at the Comic Book Cast for the Snyder Cut coverage. So stay tuned for that. Travis and I are whoring ourselves out over to Armin for we're going to be on one of the chapters for their audio commentary.
Okay.
I don't know which of the chapters. I don't think they know yet, but we're going to be featured on that. So stay tuned for that. Check out the TeePublic on the student store link on the website. Get all manner of Nerd Academy goodies, stickers, hoodies, shirts, phone cases, you name it. We got it. Go check it out. That said, thank you all so very much for listening. And I'm ending the I don't have an outro bit because like an idiot. I was just going to say smash cancer.
That too.
Yeah. Kill cancer.
Hell yeah.
Beat it. Cancer, get out of here. We don't like you.
You're not welcome.
You're not welcome anymore. Okay, I'm sorry.